Welcome to Destination Staffordshire's webinar on Instagram for small business. This is a three-part webinar and we're going to cover three different parts to getting your Instagram right for small business. Firstly, we're going to talk about whether you have an Instagram audience or not and how they fit into your business. So assessing whether or not Instagram is in fact the right platform for you to use in your business and how it might work. Then in part 2, we're going to discuss setting up and optimizing your Instagram account. And in part 3, we're going to talk about creating engaging content and how to analyze the results to get the best return on your investment and time. So first of all, it's important to ascertain if you have an Instagram audience and how they might fit into your business. A little bit of background about Instagram. So Instagram started out on the west coast of America, and it was really a photo sharing platform in which people were able to show or share inspiring or aspirational, beautiful photos with each other. It was fairly independent at the time, and it was seen as being the cutting edge, uber cool platform. Not really even a social media platform at that point, but just a photo sharing place. But back in 2012, Facebook bought Instagram. There was some consternation at the time that this was going to dilute what Instagram was about and that Instagram would no longer be the place that it had started out from. But in fact, that has not held Instagram back. There are now 23 million UK users. There are slightly more women users than men, but it depends on who you are or what you are, but there is quite an equal number generally. Instagram is often considered to be where young people are. So it's assumed for a lot of businesses that Instagram is going to be no use to them. But if we look at our audience and our audience sectors, most of us have audiences that vary in age. So even if you have a core audience, which is a slightly older audience, you may well have emerging audiences or niche audiences that are a little bit younger. It's also worth noting that, in fact, the Instagram audience is getting older all the time, and that it isn't just 18 to 23-year-olds or even younger, but in fact, Instagram is, especially for those who are posting on Instagram and not just using it for the private messaging opportunities, Instagram is certainly where 23s to 35s to 45s to 50 pluses are. So don't feel held back that Instagram is going to be too cool or too young for your business. In fact, it is an aging business all the time. So why would you choose Instagram for your business at all? What is it and why would you use it? Instagram is primarily, from a social media business point of view, a brand building site. It's where you can build that brand, the look, the feel, the story of your business, and also build reputation. It's also where you're going to find really engaging audiences, because Instagram is something that is regularly browsed at several times a day, rather like Facebook. People spend their time being entertained by the images and the videos that pass them by, scrolling on, getting to look at beautiful images, getting to know different brands, and looking out for content that they expect to see on Instagram. So it's really about accessing engaged audiences and new audiences. Because it is owned by Facebook, it also has powerful features and tools within it that make it very attractive to a small business. It's easy to use. It's simple to use. It is mobile only. So although you can edit your profile on your desktop, the only place you're going to be able to post from is from a mobile device. So it is worth noting that you need a decent smartphone with a half decent camera, and you need to be able to access that to post. You cannot post from your desktop. And because of its ownership by Facebook, it does have powerful advertising capabilities, and it has lots and lots of different analysis and insights, and it gives you ever increasing features and benefits for easy marketing for a small business. Instagram is also very lifestyle based. So as we've already talked about, it is the place where audience expects to be inspired, delighted. It's aspirational. The sectors that do particularly well are those lifestyle sectors, so holidays and travel type content really does well on Instagram. Fashion, obviously, celebrities, also well-being and diet and yoga and sports is also very popular. And small business is increasingly popular too. So it's about being aspirational, inspired, delighted, and about understanding or seeing new lifestyle options or new experience options. Understanding your audience is also important. So people, as we've already mentioned, are looking to be inspired, delighted by image. They want to be motivated by something. They want to learn something new and be part of a cool conversation. So at this point, it's really important to have a think about your own audience in your business. Who is your core audience? Do you think they are using Instagram? Do you think they're starting to use it as a way of browsing inspirational, aspirational imagery? Have you got an audience that you don't yet have but you would like? Maybe they're slightly younger, maybe they are more lifestyle based, maybe your business is beginning to diversify. So for example, you had accommodation but you're now going to do yoga retreats, or you have an accommodation but you're now going to do food tasting days, or you are a pub who is going to focus in on hyper local, unusual food sourcing, for example. It's worth noting that if that's the direction your business is going in, that you would like to be able to really bring to life what is inspirational about your business and how your business might fit into a lifestyle choice. After all, as we have previously discussed, what people are buying from you is experience, not stuff anyway. Then do not discount Instagram as an option for you. Have a look at your audience and think to yourself, even if, and we'll talk about this in a while about your broader marketing, even if Instagram really is only attracting your niche or your emerging market or your emerging audience, then you might decide that Instagram is still worth pursuing at this stage to bring that audience through, because that's where they are hanging out. So we need to understand the why and the what and how Instagram works. We've already talked about the fact that Instagram is inspirational, aspirational, and it's the place where people are looking to be inspired. They're looking to be delighted. They want to find new lifestyle choices or learn something new. Image still is king. So from its origins, it hasn't lost that core basis where image is the most important aspect of Instagram, and that's still image. The most engaging content on Instagram is still a still image, and these need to be beautiful and inspiring. Video also clearly is uploaded on Instagram and is clearly looked at. They often, when you're scrolling through, if you see videos on Instagram, you will notice that it's the views that are logged. So how many people viewed that? And because Instagram is that fairly idle, browsing platform where people are just scrolling through, looking at gorgeous things, they will probably engage, the stats show that they engage less with the video than they do with the still image. I think this is because with a still image, they will take the time to like that. So they can like it by clicking the love heart. They can comment on it. So people will do that and engage with still image. But with video, quite often the activity of watching the video for them has perhaps been enough of an engagement. And so you will still get likes, but sometimes they are lower than still images, just worth noting. It is also the home of the multiple hashtag. So Instagram really harnessed the use of the hashtag even more so than on Twitter, where it originated. And when Instagram was bought by Facebook, Facebook really wasn't using hashtags at all at that time, and they certainly weren't searchable. So Instagram really was the pioneer platform for using multiple hashtags. If you're not sure what a hashtag is, it is a word with a hashtag in front of it, or a phrase which is exemplifying a particular subject area, a particular feeling, or a particular trend. So it could be anything from hashtag yoga to hashtag Friday moods or Friday vibes. So it can be about a feeling or an interest area, but it can also be about a thing as well. Instagram also was the place where stories really took off. So stories are pieces of content that will only stay on your Instagram for 24 hours. Now, these stories are innovative, hugely popular, and quite often are the basis of accounts getting good engagement. If you have good stories that are seen regularly, this seems to increase the number of followers you have, and also increases the amount of engagement that you get. Comments, there are two kinds of comments, if you like. The comment that somebody else can make about your post, but the comment is really the text that you will write underneath your image to talk about what that image is about. So you might write underneath a particular image that you saved a little bit of comment, bit of text, and then add in hashtags. It usually is that the hashtags come after the comments. That seems to be best practice. And you will notice that people put comments with little dashes or breaks in the line before they then add hashtags. And the average or the optimum number of hashtags for an Instagram post is about 10. So it's multiple hashtag usage. When you get followers on Instagram, they become dedicated followers. Instagram users expect to go back again and again and find the stories of their favorite people. And Instagram is now party to its own algorithm, just the same as Facebook. So again, rather like Facebook, if you're expecting to get good engagement, your post needs to get engagement quickly in order that Instagram will continue to show that content out to your audience and the wider audience regularly. So it isn't just in a time-ordered fashion. You might also as well see sponsored content throughout your newsfeed as you go through. Within stories, you can share you can share live video, you can share little boomerangs which go back and forth, and we'll talk about that in the content section later. But also, when you share video on stories, you can only share up to 15 seconds. So Instagram introduced IGTV, which is where you can share longer videos on Instagram as part of your IGTV or Instagram TV section of your profile. So this is also another hugely popular and increasingly important part of your Instagram strategy for your small business. It's also important to understand how you're going to harness your Instagram and how it's going to work for your business. So we have already established that you might have had a little think about whether you have the right audience for Instagram, whether your audience is on Instagram, and whether it's the right place for you to be. But it's also important to understand how you're going to make it work and harness it for your business. So think about what you need in your business. What is it that you're trying to achieve with your business and your business marketing? Are you wanting to build brand? Are you moving into new areas? Are you diversifying slightly and introducing new experiences within your business? Is your story tellable on Instagram. So if you have established your brand and you know your why and you know your story and you know what content you want to share, is that going to work on Instagram? Can you make that beautiful? Can you make that aspirational? Can you make that inspiring? And can you bring in a lifestyle element to that? Are there popular areas on Instagram that will fit with your business beautifully, like a yoga retreats, or like hyper local food, or like beautiful, relaxing countryside images, for example? So it's really worth understanding how you're going to make Instagram work for your business. And then, as we've already mentioned, Instagram needs to be part of your broader marketing plan. It might be that you have a website and you have third-party OTAs and you have review sites, and you might have Facebook account and Twitter. And you might think, well, I don't need Instagram as well. But as we've already talked about, you may have established that you do have a small audience or an emerging audience that might well be hanging out on Instagram, or you can start to make more of your diversification. So as part of your broader marketing plan, understand where Instagram fits in, exactly who your market is for Instagram, and how you're going to make Instagram work for your business. And you really need to think about that before you head headlong into Instagram, because quickly, and we'll talk about Instagram content grids later, but you can quite quickly misfire on Instagram, and not necessarily, for example, if you try to replicate exactly the same content on Instagram as Facebook without any thought, and then you might find that Instagram doesn't work for you. You need to think clearly about how it fits into that broader marketing, and how you market to your customers on Facebook and how that translates on Instagram, for example. It's also worth noting at this point that actually the click-through rate from Instagram is very low. So the highest click-through rate of the main principal platforms is Facebook. Facebook has a high click-through rate. People expect to click through to get more information from a business. The same with Twitter as well. So people, because of the 140 character limit, people expect to click through from Twitter in order to read that article, find out more from that blog, watch that video in detail, hear more about that news item. So they tend to have quite a good click-through rate. The figures out by Instagram, the last figures that were out were from 2017, and it was actually 0.2% click-through rate. So it was really low. However, that is increasing, and there are now other opportunities for people to click through. They can't click through from your content unless they have enabled a shop window. They can only click through from your bio. So it takes a little bit of effort for a user to be scrolling through content and being inspired and really enjoying that experience, to then click through to your bio and click through to your link to find out more. So just be aware of that and how that fits into your broader marketing mix. So just to conclude then, in this part one of Instagram, we have checked out whether your audience is right for Instagram and whether you have an audience that is on Instagram. You probably have, because the ages are getting older all the time and there is a broad lifestyle interest. We've also talked about why Instagram is important, how it builds brand and reputation, and how its advertising and its features and benefits as being owned by Facebook are really powerful for a small business. And we've also had a look at why and what, how Instagram works, how you can harness it for your business, and how you can ensure before you start that Instagram is the right thing for you as part of your broader marketing.